Welcome to the second episode of Smash Brothers, What Could Have Been, a series where I discuss my past Smash Bros. Wish lists and my opinions on each character now. As a part of this series, I want you to post your wish lists in the comments below, so that in the finale, I'll compile all the wish lists to see who the most popular and least popular characters are. For today's episode, my revised wish list, Newcomer Wish List, uploaded May 4th, 2014. At this point, we were far into the development of Smash Brothers, and the newcomers we knew about were Villager, Mega Man, Wii Fit Trainer, Rosalina, Little Mac, and Greninja. It was also almost a month after the Super Smash Bros. Nintendo Direct. I made this wish list after realizing that my first was really hasty. Some of the characters were carried over from the first, while others are new. There are two characters on my original wish list that couldn't make it onto the second list. They are Little Mac, who was confirmed to be playable, and Waluigi, who returned as an assist trophy. First, returning from the first wish list is Professor Layton. I still don't really want him to be playable because, again, I've never played one of his games. Once again, however, I did acknowledge that he has two popular trilogies on the DS and 3DS. Next is Palutena, who ended up being playable. In a video separate from my wish list, I broke down what Palutena's moves could involve. I said that her attacks would probably be ranged and light-based, and that she would probably utilize different divine powers and weapons like the power of flight she grants Pit in Kid Icarus Uprising. While Palutena's moveset does grab from different powers from Kid Icarus, she uses her staff and shield for melee attacks more than I was imagining for someone so godlike. Next is Robin, who also ended up being playable. Robin is one of my favorite characters in the entire Smash Bros. Series. In my wish list, I argued that he would be a better Fire Emblem representative than Chrom would be. Since Robin can use swords and magic tomes, he represents a wider range of the playable characters in the Fire Emblem series, far better than the sword-only using Marth, Ike, or even Chrom. I'm pretty happy with how Robin turned out, although I think I would have rather seen both Robin and Chrom, rather than having Chrom being a part of Robin's final smash and victory poses. And really, that's mostly because I think it's a little stupid that we have Lucina as another blue-haired swords person, and a clone of Marth. But truthfully, I understand that Lucina was originally a costume for Marth and was added as an extra character, sort of like the dessert that was added onto the gourmet meal that is Smash for Wii U and 3DS. Next are Miis, which were added to the game as Mii fighters. They're kind of interesting with how much they can be customized, however I would have liked to see them implemented differently. I would have liked to see Miis implemented with a single, static moveset based off of the Wii Sports games. I think it would have been really cool if Miis carried Wii remotes or other controllers as weapons, and the controller would transform into whatever they needed for the attack. For example, the Wii remote could become one of the swords from Swordplay in Wii Sports Resort, or a bowling ball from Wii Sports. If they wanted to expand even further, I bet the Miis could also whip out a 3DS or a Wii U gamepad, throw it on the ground, and have it transform into a waveboard from Wii Sports Resort. Also, as the Mii fighters are implemented, I think it's a shame that they can't be used online with strangers. I understand the reasons why this was done, but it makes the Mii fighters feel like they're only half implemented into the game. Next is Tingle from the Legend of Zelda series. I have mixed feelings about him now, but to sum up why he's on this list, I wanted another Zelda rep in Smash, and Tingle is the most recurring character in the series after Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. When I talked about him, I based his abilities on the Game Boy Advance connectivity with The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker using the Tingle Tuner. Link could use the Tingle Tuner to call Tingle to grant him certain abilities. I basically said that for a moveset, maybe Tingle could use these. He could toss out some bombs, use a Kulu Limpa to randomly give himself a buff, use the Tingle balloons to float around, or maybe even heal himself with some Ting. Hyrule Warriors kinda gives us a taste of this with the Majora's Mask DLC pack. Tingle in Hyrule Warriors is a lot more aggressive than I imagined he would be in Smash. He attacks enemies directly with a rupee bag, his balloon, and even a rolled up map. Not to mention his very animated face, which can be frightening at times. I think this is an interesting take on Tingle that is a lot different from his somewhat playful, in Majora's Mask, and even sketchy, in The Wind Waker, personality seen in the main Zelda series. For some reason, whenever I think of Tingle in Smash Bros. Now, I imagine him flying around with his balloons and hopping on a giant rupee, just like Villager with his balloons and his Lloyd rocket. I wonder if Smash Bros. Could learn a thing or two from Hyrule Warriors when it comes to creating movesets for non-combative characters. Or maybe Hyrule Warriors learned it from Smash. Lastly is Wonder Red from the Wonderful 101. I still would really like to see Wonder Red playable in the Smash series. One of my favorite concepts in anything is goofy superhero teams with unlikely or not so superheroes, and the Wonderful 101 fits that perfectly. I have a lot of ideas for Wonder Red, so I apologize in advance for going on a tangent about a potential moveset. The main ability of the Wonderful Ones is the ability to morph together to create different weapons. In the original game, Wonder Red can use Unite Hand, Wonder Blue Unite Sword, Wonder Green Unite Gun, and so on. I think in Smash, Wonder Red could borrow some of these abilities, even if they're not actually his. Unite morphs usually require a certain number of other Wonderful Ones to create, but I think for Smash, the morphs would probably just magically appear, maybe with an effect of the other Wonderful Ones fading in and out to create them. I imagine Wonder Red would summon the Unite morphs using his specials, and he would keep them out to use for his other standard attacks. Doing this would give him much more power and range, but would make him much heavier and slower. Just as some quick ideas, I think Unite Hand would be his neutral special, granting slightly more range with a lot of power. Unite Gun would be his side special, allowing shooting powerful bullets, and Unite Sword would be his down special, granting much more range but less power. Without a Unite morph active, Wonder Red would mostly use punching attacks, as seen when fighting alone in the Wonderful 101. Plus, his design with a large upper body and short legs also gives reason for this. Finally, I think his up special would be reserved for Wonder Jump, an ability used during QuickTime events in the Wonderful 101, and, as for a final smash, Wonder Big. So anyway, what do you think of these characters? Do you want any of them to be playable? And since I kind of went off describing a few of them, what do you think of my ideas? Remember to leave your wish list in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time in the next episode of Smash Brothers, What Could Have Been, for something a bit different than this.